So welcome back to my studio. It is Christmas time already, and we're getting close. And I've been upstairs in my studio playing around with some different ideas. And I wanted to paint some of these little ornaments, these wooden ornaments that I got at the craft store. So I had in my head to do a plaid, but I've never really painted plaid. So I did a bunch of test swatches just in my mixed media journal, and I had all of these squares of plaids that I was trying out, and I didn't want to waste them. So I got my circle punches and I punched out a bunch of little circles. And I was going to actually do a tutorial about these wooden ornaments, but this turned into a nightmare. So what happened was every time I laid my masking tape down um, to do the plaid and pulled it up, it kept taking the paint off. So I pretty much did this by hand without any masking tape. And there are a couple of goofs here and there, but it came out okay. But it took a lot longer than I wanted it to. So I might save that for another day, or maybe not. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, today what we're going to do is I wanted to show you how to make this card. It's really quick and really easy, and all you need are piece of craft paper that you can fold in half, or you can buy already made cards like this at the craft store. If you don't have, any little plaid swatches that you made, and you can just take some wrapping paper if you want to use these. You absolutely do not have to. I just thought having a little bit of a 3D element on here was kind of cool. And I wanted to repurpose these. So um, this was the first idea that I came up with, just super simple. But we're going to do the wreath today because it is even more simple and it's really quick. I think the first, if you hear any weird squeaks, that's my chair. Um, so all you need is some craft paper and a white gel pen. Now, I will say before we start, obviously you don't have to have craft paper. You can use regular white paper, and I erased before my pen was dry, but you get the idea. So these are really simple. You can make the wreath as big or as small as you want. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my tape. These always make really good circles. Um, so you can decide if you want the wreath to take up most of the top of the page. I'm going to save the bottom third for some really simple writing. And all I do is just make sure I've got it, pretty even on all sides. And I don't want to stick my head under there for the camera, but I'm going to trace on the inside of the circle for this with my white gel pen. I'm not even going to use a pencil. And once you get that made, be careful. I have done this so many times. I have laid my hand into it and smeared the ink. So just be really careful. You can use a piece of paper or a paper towel to lay your hand on. But what I like to do is take my pen and just kind of hold it loosely. And I'm going to follow my circle just to get a little bit of wonkiness in here that will read kind of like the grapevines. Okay. And don't try to make it straight or perfect because it's the little wobbles that make it, I think, look really cool. All right. So wreaths all, when they're made, the greenery is usually wired around in one direction, and that's when you get all of these little things happening on the outer edge and the inside. But they'll all be going in the same direction. So what I like to do is just kind of map out some branches. Let's see if my pen will work. Just get some branches going in here on the inside and on the outside. And this is just going to be a map. And that's where I'm going to add in some of my extra lines to make it look like greenery. And once I've got those laid in, I can start adding in the needles. And if you know how to make a V shape, you can do this. So super simple. Don't try to be super precise. I think that um, things, you know, nature and things that are natural, I mean, you're going to get some variation, a lot of variation. And when it's too uniform, that's when it doesn't read right in my book anyway. So I'm going to go around this entire wreath and just like I said, kind of follow the circle that I've made and the branches that I've laid out, and I'm going to add in all of these little needles. So I'm going to speed this up, and we'll be back after I'm finished adding all of this in. Okay, so I have this filled in. You can see that I actually went into some of the circle part and not just on the branches. So you can fill this in as heavy as you want, or you can keep it really kind of sparse and simple. Totally up to you. I just try to get something that's fairly balanced looking. um, so I'll stop every once in a while and kind of look at it and see, maybe there's somewhere that I want to add something else or an additional branch. Something you can also do is you can add in some twigs, and I like to just um, add in some random twigs here and there, like that. And I can go back and put some berries on these, which is exactly what I'm going to do here in a second. And I still follow the shape of the wreath when I'm putting in these twigs also. Okay, so that's pretty good, I think. And what I'm going to do for the berries is I have a red Posca pen, and I was using a gel pen on my last cards, and it just wasn't as punchy as I wanted it to be. So I'm going to add in my berries with this red Posca pen. And I'm going to try to just stay on the twigs that I just added in. And the red gel pen did work. I think it was just a little bit too transparent on my last card. So, and I'm going to add in a few random berries on the wreath too. Okay. So the next thing I'm going to do is I am going to take some of these little pieces of plaid that I have, and I'm going to punch out with my small punch some of these circles. and I want to get something that has a little bit of variety in it. I don't want it to be a solid color. So I'm going to try to be very careful where I'm punching. And something else to think about too is that obviously I don't want to put something light colored on here because you won't see it. So just think about the contrast when you're adding the details into your wreath. And maybe a couple of these. I don't know how well this is going to show up, but we will find out. All right, so I just emptied this, and then I can take these little pieces and get these put on my wreath. Now I do have a snowflake punch as well, and I did punch out a couple of these. I don't know that I'm going to use them on this one, but that is from a different punch. Let's see what I got. I do love the red and white. I think that's really cute. And I'm trying to, I don't want to lay these out too evenly because I want it to look a little more natural than, um, you know, when something is too symmetrical or too evenly spaced, it's not interesting really. So I do wish that I had a punch that was somewhere between this size and this small size, but I don't. So I'll just have to go with this. And so I use a glue stick to adhere all of this down, and it can be kind of tricky to get these on because they're so small. But I'm going to speed this up, and when we come back, we'll add in our text and maybe a couple more details. Okay, so I have finished gluing all of those down. And if you wanted to, you could add a little bow in there too with red Posca pen. I've used gold on the craft paper, and it really depends, I think, on what kind of gold pen you have. Uh, what I was using just really didn't show up very well. So I'm going to stick with the colors that I have here. And the last thing I'm going to do is add in some really quick lines here. And I am going to pencil in some text and then go over that with my white gel pen. You can use a white Posca pen too. I use the extra fine, and that works really well. So I'm just going to guesstimate kind of the center here, and I am going to just print happy. And I think printing always looks really cute, and I think we all know how to print. Pretty easy stuff. So happy. Okay. So what I did is I just printed out Happy Holidays, and then to add a little, just kind of zhuzh these letters up a little bit, I made little dots um, where the letters started and ended, and that's pretty much it. And if you wanted to, you could You could add something here in the middle of the wreath, maybe like another ornament hanging down or a couple of ornaments. Um, I don't know how that would look with my snowflakes. I think I'm just going to leave mine the way that it is. Um, but you can, yeah, give this a try and try out different colors with your pens and with your paper, especially. I thought this would look really cool with black paper and use some metallic pens to do this, especially gold. So yeah, that's pretty much it. It's a simple little card that you can make in about a half an hour. I hope you had fun and I hope you give it a try. Let me know what you think in the comments. Thanks, everybody. I will see you in the next one.